All right, Australian Survivor Redemption released episode 3, and I finally got to watch it because of the Survivor 50 premiere yesterday. We see the aftermath of the Baron tribe and how much control Mark is taking. I thought it was a good move for Mark in hindsight, but now, given what people are saying about Mark in this episode, I'm just like, dude, you're messing up. Like, you are playing like this godfather figure role. By the way, this was never you and Titan versus Rebels, so why are you acting like this now? You want to play so hard. You're like desperate to redeem yourself. And we've seen it countless times in Australian Survivor and in US Survivor where veteran players do come back and they think they have to do so much to prove why they're like this amazing character from their prior season and then end up just failing. So people are really threatened by Mark and his strategic stance and power that he currently does have. But then we have Faith and Keely that is working very well with Mark. But they go off to the side and they're like, I don't know how much we can trust Mark. Like, Mark's a good ally, but in the long term, are we just going to lose out on the game? Is this just it? We got to separate ourselves from Mark at some point or time. There's not much that was happening on the Baron tribe after that. It was just like that. That's the only thing to know. We have two really big characters this episode, and their names are Jackson and Eliza. Now, the one thing to note when it comes to Australian Survivor is when somebody suddenly becomes the main character, you know they're going home. You know one of them is about to go home. Now, it's not always the case in Australian Survivor. Sometimes they do avert it, but like most of the time, it's not a good thing. You don't want to be the main character. You want to be purpled because that means you're making it far. So, if I'm not talking about you, that's a good thing, by the way. So we see this really awesome dynamic between Jackson and Eliza, and I really like it. I think they're fun and cool. I think it's a cool duo. However, Jackson has a bit of a problem, and his name is Harry. Harry is a massive liability for the tribe, by the way, but like, nobody sees it except for Lottie. And oh yeah, Lottie and Harry are still kind of beefing. And there's kind of this like unspoken rivalry, but they know damn well they have a rivalry, so it's a bit crazy here. And so there's this alliance of 8 that is gonna try to form, and we'll get more into it with the strategy. So let's just get into the reward challenge. This episode is actually pretty straightforward. There's not really much to talk about here. The reward challenge is kind of whatever. It's fun. But the thing that really caught my attention was Lyndall and Brooke. They were fighting for their lives to transfer the idols so they could both have hidden immunity idols. Oh man, I was getting really stressed out. I genuinely thought they weren't going to be able to transfer it. It was that serious, by the way. Sometimes there's the act of God that comes in and people are like, you know what? Let's go congratulate the other tribe. Let's just say, good game, good game. Like, that opens the door for Lyndall and Brooke to successfully transfer their idols, which they edited horribly, by the way, because I was like, they only transferred one idol from the look of it when I was watching it. I was like, okay, I guess they both transferred it, so success. And so the Bounty Tribe does win the donuts and coffee reward. And also to talk about this like donut and coffee reward very quickly, it became very sentimental, very, authentic. Like, I know it's only a weekend, but I can imagine these people being really emotional despite, being on a show that they've always wanted to be on, regardless if they've been recruited or not. And, it's only been 7 days. But like when you're starving, you feel like everyone's out there to betray you. I feel like that brings out a lot of emotions in you. And to have like the memories and the reasons why people are playing, or the reason why you're playing for other people. Like, of course you're playing for yourself to like get the title Soul Survivor, but you can have your friends and family and those ideas back you up in your mind to help you perform well. Some people do need that. And so the Bounty Tribe got to experience a little bit of like those letters from home that we would see in US Survivor. It had that kind of moment. And so it gave a lot of motivation for them to perform well. This would probably happen before the reward challenge, but Jackson went to Eliza about this alliance of 8 and told her that she was excluded. By the way, really good move on Jackson's part if he really wants to work with Eliza. And it's just like a sign of trust. And Eliza is like, this is the big opportunity. Like, now that I know I'm on the bottom, how can I capitalize on it? Who are the people I can work with and like really trust and work together? However, timing is everything, but I think more important than timing at times is knowing the personalities of people. When you are with people for a week in Survivor or any other reality show, you have no technology, you have no distraction. You should really know who they are. So, like, by day 3, you should really gauge at least the basic personalities of people. And by 7 days, you should know who you should trust, even if you have never been to tribal council. And so Eliza gets Lyndall up in the middle of the night, which, by the way, isn't necessarily a bad move. Sometimes you want to have those late night conversations without the stress of people watching you. But she didn't realize that waking Lyndall up in the middle of the night would be a literal death sentence for her. Now, I don't think it's a bad move in hindsight, but again, you gotta know the personality of people. When people say, I need beauty sleep, don't wake them up. Because sleep is, like, crucial for them to, like, stay mentally sane. And so, now, in hindsight, do I think it was a good move for Lyndall to go against Eliza? No, I think it's actually probably one of the worst moves Lyndall could make at this very moment. Because Eliza was telling Lyndall, like, hey, you and I are in a really bad spot, by the way. I don't think anyone is gonna lie about that. If somebody's on the bottom and they're also telling you that you're on the bottom, why would they lie? Why would anybody lie about that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. But Lyndall just isn't happy with it. Let's get into the immunity challenge now, because we gotta still talk about this Lyndall and Eliza situation that's happening here. The immunity challenge is great. It is like a nail biter, buzzer beater type of immunity challenge. It was so close. Like, Baron was about to go back to back tribal councils, but carried out the win with Dawn, and Jackson is just demoralized because he literally had one barrel to take out to win immunity. It was so close. I can understand the weight of how Jackson is feeling, like, knowing that Eliza really is on the bottom. Like, he didn't know, like, if Eliza was going to be the target. It wasn't set in stone yet. And it wasn't even set in stone by the time they got to the immunity challenge. It wasn't until after immunity and basically at the tribal council where, oh yeah, Eliza's gonna go home. I can understand the fear of Jackson. He really did think he was gonna go home. Now, I don't think anybody in that position that, like, lost for the tribe is gonna go home because they performed so exceptionally. But I can understand the fear of it. Now, let's get into the Bounty Tribal Council here. So originally, the move was gonna be lost. Everyone was down for it until Lyndall decided to have a petty tribal council motive and want to take out Eliza for waking her up and making her paranoid. You know, you want to be paranoid in Survivor. If you aren't stressing out about your allies, and if you aren't stressing out about yourself even, you're not really playing a good game, in my opinion here. Lyndall's the type of person that just wants peace of mind, but also, like, has this idea that she needs to control things, and I think it's going to be the demise of her game. Eliza was going to be a true ally to Lyndall, and so when you take out true allies, even if you know them or not, like, if you know that they are going to be true ally or not, it's going to end your game at some point in time. Lyndall literally just kind of handed the power over to Harry, pretty much. Harry and Simon specifically. Like, Lottie is the only person that's, like, clocking that, like, Harry is a massive, scary threat. Not Simon. Simon's playing a really good game. Harry, on the other hand, is playing a bit of a rougher game, but for some reason, he's able to take, like, that control, and the newbies are just like, yeah, we want to work with you, Harry. Like, you've been through this before. We trust you. And now, look, I'm not fully against the veterans going out early and actually making it further into the game, because they do offer wisdom for these newbies to actually start playing well. They are a teacher of some kind. But when you're also dealing with a personality like Harry that says at the tribal council, I am driving the bus and I'm going to hit somebody, maybe the newbie should rethink if Harry should stay in the game or not. If I'm going to be real here, Harry and Mark are probably going to be the first veteran boots of the season. And obviously, I'm not going to count Kat from episode 2 because this is her first time playing Australian Survivor, so she's technically a newbie. So let's get into the voting though. So it was an 8-3 vote. And so the vote count and like how people voted, it was falling in line, except for, a third Laz vote, which made almost no sense until I found out that it was Harry. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, actually, that really isn't a bad move. It's really not a bad move because Harry can just go to the main alliance and be like, or like to basically the whole tribe of 8 and just say, yo, actually, I voted Eliza out. Who's the little betrayer here? Who's the little snake? But then he can go to Jackson and be like, bro, I voted lost. I don't know what the tribe is doing. I'm on the bottom. So Jackson is probably just going to implicitly trust Harry, honestly, here. I mean, we'll have to see next episode, but I mean, that's where my prediction is. There's a lot of dynamics going on in the Bounty and Baron tribe, but especially the Bounty tribe at the moment. Again, it's a really solid episode, really exciting moments. But hey, if you liked Australian Survivor commentary here, make sure to like, comment down below, subscribe please. All right, tomorrow we will have the Traitors finale. I will not be uploading it tonight. Stay tuned for that, and then on Sunday, more Australian Survivor. So I'll see you guys then.